In this video, I show you how to drain the bottom sediment out of your tank. And as a bonus, when I'm done that, I'm gonna show you how you can change every part of your hot water tank yourself to keep it running in tip-top shape. This hot water tank has been in this house since before we purchased, so it's been here for at least 10 years. Today, I'm gonna empty it out. I'm gonna show you all the nastiness inside. I gotta clean this thing out. We're gonna change out the anode rod, which I did maybe a year or two ago. We're gonna see what kind of shape it's in. And then since I'm doing that, I thought I would take the time to do the burners and the thermostat, which probably don't need to be done, but it's gonna be good for you guys to see just how easy it is to keep your tank running in tip-top shape, prevent it from leaking, keep it clean, keep the water hot, preventing rust, all of that good stuff. And you can do it yourself and it doesn't really cost much money. Let's do it. I empty out the bottom of my tank a lot because it gets pretty nasty. I screw the hose on to the drain and throw it in a bucket, turn the valve with a screwdriver, and just basically empty buckets until the water starts running clear. The sediment just sits at the bottom of your tank, so you don't actually see it come out of your household taps. Next, I went ahead and changed my anode rod. I do it a lot. I have hard water. You can get away with every 3 to 5 years. I usually do every 2 to 3 years. These things are awesome. They're your #1 line of defense. They prevent your tank from rusting and can make all the difference. If you want it to last 20 years and never leak in your basement, make sure to change these often. Before I unscrew that thing though, I'm gonna make sure I turn off the power to my tank. My water's shut off and I opened some hot water faucets in the house to release the pressure. The socket size for these things is super annoying. I believe mine is 1 1/16 to get it off. Wait till you see how nasty this thing is after just a couple years. So I started pulling it out and it won't come out because it's stuck. It looks like it's disintegrated so badly that the metal is actually hanging off of the bottom, which is preventing it from pulling through the opening. This is what they're supposed to look like. I'm gonna keep fiddling with it here. I don't want the rod to break off into the tank, although I don't think it would actually hurt anything if it did. For some reason, this reminds me of shrimp tempura. Well, this is what it looks like. It's a perfect example of why you need to change these things regularly. I stuck my snake cam into the tank and I realized that this thing is full of mineral scale all the way up to the lower burner. So that's about 10 inches of mineral scale sitting at the bottom of the tank that I'll clean out later in the video. So this is a new anode rod I picked up at the hardware store. I want to clean up these threads before I stick the new one in. So I'm going to be using Teflon tape and a white joint compound. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this rod back in. Now that that's all done, I'm gonna swap out the 2 thermostats and the 2 heating elements. If you're still here watching my video, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video if you're enjoying the content. The power's still off, but I like to double check. So I picked up 2 new thermostats, an upper thermostat and a lower thermostat. The wiring for these things is very straightforward. It came with really good wiring diagram in the packaging, but I always take pictures of stuff before I take it apart. That way I have good reference. As I'm replacing this thermostat, I'm just gonna reuse the existing wires. Since these wires are already here and matched to the system, I don't need to worry about the thickness. They're already the right size. I'm gonna take the old wires off and attach the new ones exactly the same way it was before. I'll make sure the wires are snug and secure with no exposed copper sticking out. If I notice any frayed ends, I'll strip them to about 5/8 of an inch or 16 millimeters to get a clean connection, but really it's just a matter of matching what I see and that keeps it nice and simple. The thermostats have these little fins on them that hold them in place and they connect into the tabs right here. So to pull the other one out, you're just gonna pull the tabs forward and then wiggle the old one up. And it should just slide out no problem with a little encouragement. So I grabbed the new one and positioned it against the tank and then just slid it down. You'll see the little fins, they click in and you can see them sticking out and you'll sometimes hear them click in as well. Got to make sure it's sitting flat against the tank or it's not good. All right, awesome. Let's get this lower one on so that we can move on to the new heating elements. This one is the exact same process as the upper, except there's less wires for it, so it should be faster. Here's my new heating elements that I picked up. They're 3000 watts by 240 volts, which is the same that's listed on my tank here for the upper and lower element. I have to make sure the tank is completely empty before I remove these. I stuck a long hose on it and let it drain for a while. Once all the water was out, it was just a matter of disconnecting the wires and removing the heating elements. They were both kind of stuck inside. The bottom one in particular was almost impossible to get out, so I had to completely bend it. I'm gonna give everything a good clean before I put it back together. See how rough these threads are, they're completely disintegrating. I used my vacuum to suck out the scale and mineral deposits that had collected at the bottom of the tank. In theory, you shouldn't have to use any thread sealant. The new gaskets should be enough when properly tightened to secure the water, but I always overdo everything and I don't want to risk having a little leak and then having to re-empty the tank to fix it up. All right, this is the moment of truth. I'm gonna fill the tank with water, make sure there's no leaks, and then if everything is good to go, we can put the covers on and then turn the power on for the system. Everything's looking good. No leaks, water's full. I'm gonna stick these covers back on. Went ahead and turned my power back on and everything was good to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.